Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. This one is an interesting twist on a key video that you all need to know. There's lots of confusion about what is the best stock ever in the history of the world? What will the best stock be in the future? Is the past and whoops, sorry. I was testing. Oh, I do have audio. Sorry. I was playing in the background, autoplay. My bad. Live TV as usual. It's early. I haven't had enough coffee yet. But let's get into it. This will be an exciting video, and I'm also putting my reputation on the line with this one a little bit too. So let's get into it. And it is Thursday, so it is an AI impact story as well. But the thumb is a little bit different. Remember, Thursday we talk about disruption and AI, and this is not financial advice. And a big thank you to everybody on Patreon. This is from Javen. I've joined your Patreon. I made the best ROI in less than a year than my last 4 to 5 years combined, mostly from stocks. Woohoo! I too have made most of my money from stocks, a little bit from crypto, but my life is way before crypto. Anyway, let's get into the inspiration for this story and a lot of confusion that comes about from this. This is from John, and it was a very good list of all the top stock returns since IPO date. You can see here the list is ordered in terms of top returns. Walmart, 3.8 million %. Wow. But that's in 55 years, 56 years almost. Wild. And that takes into account the important thing of time. Home Depot, number 2. NVIDIA, number 3. Microsoft, number 4. Oracle 5, Adobe, Apple, Netflix, Cisco, Best Buy, Nike, Costco, Tesla, FedEx, Starbucks. You can see a lot of this has to do with technology. But the most important thing to take into account is time. If you look at some of these puppies, some of them go way back to 1970, and some are as young as only 15 years. And that's what I'm trying to get at today. So what I did is I took this list and calculated the actual CAGR, the compound annual growth rate. And if you watch my channel, you know I talk about CAGRs all the time because that's where the truth lies. So I calculated all the top performance of all these names on CAGR on an annual basis. And if you go to the bottom, FedEx, only 12.98% CAGR. But if you look at this list, it's second last. So kind of makes sense. But the most important thing is the years in the market. Okay. If you are in the market for a long time and you have a lot of returns like Walmart, the problem is you need to calculate the CAGR over that long period of time. And when you do that, the number one stock ever in the history of stocks in terms of the most powerful CAGR is Tesla with 48.53%. Number 2 stock is NVIDIA, 40.62%. And number 3 stock is also a technology name. It's Netflix, 35.85%. Then you got Microsoft, Oracle, etc. But this is absolutely important, critical, okay? So yeah, I know Tesla gets a lot of hate, but it's also made a lot of millionaires. Now, I put together a little visual of that as well, so you can see the importance of kind of the impact of time versus the actual compound annual growth rate. Walmart, okay, 55 years in the market, CAGR 13%. But when you see this return here, 3.8 million %, that is the miracle of compounding. Never forget that the miracle of compounding is something to behold. As Albert Einstein said, the 8th wonder of the world. Get some. Always be compounding. Always hold your winning assets as long as you can. But you can see clearly here at 8% better than the second best, which is NVIDIA. Tesla rules the roost. It's also the youngest, okay? The second youngest is Netflix at 23 years. The third youngest is NVIDIA, 26 years. So it's completely wild to see. And then the companies that are longest in the market, sometimes they continue just growing, but sometimes they get disrupted. Classic cases, the Ciscos, the Intels of the world. You know, they had a certain period of time, and then all of a sudden they slow down and go decades without making any returns. So this takes me to my next question. And remember, the most important thing in life is to ask the right questions. That's why I called this channel 5 years ago, Invest Answers. Okay. Hopefully I'll be able to listen to people with the right questions. And those people that ask the right questions will go the furthest because that's important. Now, we are on the verge of something very special. Elon Musk tweeted it, but yesterday, and I know today is weak because of some saber rattling and airspace concerns and everything else. We're not going to touch that right now. But what is wild is Tesla yesterday had its highest daily close ever in the year 2025, and it's ranked number 5 ever at 442.87. It hit a little higher than that yesterday and then crunched down today so far. But again, that is important. And it's important as well to know what we're setting up for. There are some crazy things going on. Now, let's compare my sandbagged price targets for Tesla and then back into the CAGR over that 25-year period. So I'm going to take the price targets out to 2035. And of course, anything can go to zero. This might be worth nothing in 10 years or 5 years or next year. Okay, that's the danger of investing. But the returns and investing in the right things and holding them for a long time is mind-blowing. So what I'm going to try and do is calculate the CAGR for Tesla based on the price target over the next 10 years. And the reason that this is important, all right, is Elon Musk and the board of Tesla have given us the roadmap to the price over the next 5 to 10 years. It's very rare you know exactly where you're going to go. And because we've been analyzing Tesla intently since 2017, we know what they can achieve and what they can't achieve. And I can tell you, everything on that compensation plan to 10x the stock, turn into $8.5 trillion stock is totally achievable. All right. So let's take that. Now, the price targets, just to make sure people see, and they are a little bit mesmerizing, so don't get dizzy looking at them. Of course, it'll be a slow ramp to 2027. Remember, these are sandbagged, 656. We could hit 656 before Christmas this year, by the way. Forget 2027, but I did say this is sandbagged. 2028, 1747. 2029, about 3,300. 2030, $6,500. You remember, 3 years ago, I made a video, 8 ways to 8,000, and I was laughed out of the room for 2032. This sandbagged model now has the price of 12,700 by 2032. It's actually gone up. So my video 3 years ago was actually sandbagged, which is wild. Now, I don't know if we're going to get here, but again, everything I see says it's all theoretically possible based on the comp plan and based on what they can do. And out to 2035, the numbers get really nuts, goes up to 29,000. Now, as I said before, we have the 15-year CAGR, which is number 1 in the world. Okay, it's 48.53% here. Now, what happens if we take into account these price targets and layer it on top of the existing CAGR to calculate a new CAGR? That was the question I asked myself. So we have the 10x impact on CAGR, 15 years, 48.53, total return, 37,670%. If the price goes to 29K by 2035, the new CAGR jumps to 50.01%. You cannot make this percentage up. It just literally by 0.01% got over 50%. Okay. And that is the CAGR over a 25-year period. If Elon Musk achieves this comp plan, okay, out to 2035, that takes the stock price to 27K. The CAGR, okay, is very important. I'll repeat things myself a few times. The CAGR goes from the highest ever CAGR in the history of the world of 48.53, and it goes up. It goes up to 50.01%. Okay. And that's a full 10 percentage points higher than NVIDIA. Okay. Remember, CAGRs are wild. A slight difference. The difference between a 10% CAGR and a 12% CAGR over a 10, 20-year period is huge. Massive, massive. So let's put that in a multiple chart, because I always like to think of multiples, where what does it mean if you have a certain cost basis and you get to hold the stock for this period of time? Imagine your cost basis is 1750. My largest buy ever was in March 2020. Leaps. The cost of Tesla at the time, after adjusted for 2 stock splits, is $17.50. Okay. If you bought in March 2020, like I did, and the price goes to the target, okay, things get pretty nutty. You get a multiple up to 60 and 68, which is wild, absolutely wild. Now, If you bought yesterday and the price at 440, your multiple is only 66x. Still good, but not perfect. But remember, we've been hammering on this channel about Tesla now for nearly 5 years. Let's go to my retire on Tesla model again from 3 years ago. This is the exact same thing that's in the video from 3 years ago, and what the price targets were for 2032. My average of all price targets, 4,800. My bull case, 8188. That was the 8 ways to 8,000. Now that's gone up to 12,000 or more. Again, sandbagged. I've got many models, but that's a sandbagged one. And the cost to buy the retirement bag, this is where it gets kind of wild. You could have bought a retirement bag during the dip, during C19, for a very small amount of dollars, okay? All you need is 300 shares. 300 times $17.50, do the math. That was your retirement bag. And I still hammer the table on that 300 share number. Everybody should make that as a goal. I know it's hard now. It was super easy a couple of years ago. It was super easy at 106. But again, keep on chipping away because there are big things coming, all right? This just came out from Elon Musk. Version 14 goes into early wide release next week, all right? They said at the end of September. Next week, maybe see, they will just about squeeze it in. And again, of course, the top users get it first. But then there'll be 14.1, and then 2 weeks later, finally 14.2. So the code base for 14 probably has been tested a lot. 14.2 probably is what's running in robotaxis right now in California and Texas and being tested all over the country. But he said again, this car will feel almost like it is sentient, but with version 14.2. All right, here we are. We have a car company that sells cars cheaper and better than anybody else, and they drive themselves. There's nothing even close, and they have the best-selling car on the planet. It's wild. And this is the reason why these numbers could happen, okay? This is why. He gives us all the breadcrumbs. This week, surfing cyber surgeon will drop 50K into Tesla. Elon said the biggest transfer of wealth in human history. No, it was not. Not transfer of wealth, creation of wealth. The pie will get much larger, opposite of a zero-sum game. That's why people get bogged down. It's like, well, if Tesla goes to $29,000 or $27,000 a share, that means it makes up like 30% of US GDP. How is that even possible for one stock? The answer is the pie gets a lot bigger, ladies and gentlemen. This is important to understand. Everything here is important to understand. Do you want to be in something that's way better than the Walmart of 55 years ago? Okay. The CAGR of Walmart, 21.13%. The new CAGR that I calculate for Tesla over 25 years will be 50.01%. This is wild. And people are beginning to react to this and see this and understand this at last. And finally, you see this in the option action yesterday. Shout out to Katie as well. This is the amount of absolutely insane buying of call options yesterday. Somebody bought 10,000 contracts of the $500 calls for January 16th, 2026, like about 4 months away. Okay. At about $40 a pop. So the break even is 540. The stock at the time was at 440. So they are looking for a massive, at least $100 pump in the next 12 weeks or so, or else they lose an entire fortune on short-term call options. Buying them out of the money is an extremely bullish sign. And the other thing I'll hammer home is kind of like I made my first ever meme yesterday for this video. Meme du jour, 300 shares. If you have 300 shares of Tesla and you can hold on to them until 2035, that could be worth $9 million. Okay. And again, could have bought 300 shares at $17.50 each, or $106 each, or $200 each, or $300 each, 140, 150. If you're in Patreon, you know, over the last 2 years, I've DCA'd into Tesla 83 times in 24 months. Wild. Anyway, I'm going to actually do something unusual. I'm going to take a couple of questions to make sure everybody understands everything because this is too important. And thank you all for hopefully getting smarter with me here. Thank you, TND, Tesla, Sean D, etc. Any questions from everybody? Thank you, Cal, Exit America. Good to see you, Cal. I am Colt, Digital Asset US, Beyond Their Control, Doc Intern, and Rambling Roy. But are there any questions out there? Yes, and yes, from Matt Mann, Tesla does take a lot of patience. Okay, it's like Bitcoin takes a lot of patience. You buy at the bottom of the bear, and you got to wait 3 years to see your fruit ripen. It's the exact same thing with Tesla, so don't be surprised. Let me see. Sean D, thank you, and T&D for everything you do. Appreciate you. Rough estimate on Tesla purchase price. A good right now. Well, you know how much we stacked all the way from 106 to I stopped at 350, but I'm ready to go in at 400 again, get some more because of these numbers. These numbers get better and better every time I analyze them. The stock price right now, as you speak, is 429. So we had a dip actually down to 423 today, and it was at 440, 448 yesterday. So I don't know. But if you don't have any Tesla, just get some. But I do want to say one thing one more time and hammer this home. The returns that you get are a function of your cost basis. If your cost basis is low, your compounding miracle blows through the roof here. But if you're buying today 440 and Tesla goes to 29,000, you're still doing really well. You're making a 66x in less than 10 years. That's huge. But it's nothing like making a 1668x in 15 years if you can buy 5 years ago. So that's just how things kind of change. And yes, it's been a volatile ride. And yes, there's a lot of EDS and everything else as well. So let me see any other quick questions here. I don't, yeah, I'm overdosed on DATs. I have my DAT positions, but I would not be buying ETH DATs, no. So GQ Trader wants 397. I don't know if that's going to happen at all. I was in the best answer community member, Cybertruck, and I'm in love with it now. Yes, best car ever. I hope you and the puppy are enjoying the ride in the cater truck. I love it. You can put the seat back up and you got a huge space for the dog in the back and put the beds in there, water bowls, all that good stuff. Yes, I've seen everything. Let me see. The CAGR on Bitcoin. Yes, the CAGR on Bitcoin is around 50% as well. Very good point. Excellent point there as well. This is going so fast. The CAGR on Bitcoin is around 50% as well. It's actually depending on the time frame. Let me pull up the exact CAGR on Bitcoin because I have it in my model. Bear with me 1 second. It depends on the time frame you're looking at. So if you go back to the history of Bitcoin, let me pull it up in my little spreadsheet. Okay, the 15-year CAGR, the 14-year CAGR, you can't do a 15-year CAGR Bitcoin, is actually 97. Okay, it's higher than 50, but Bitcoin is special. And remember, people are buying Bitcoin at $1. Okay, when you buy something at $1 and it goes to 100,000, it's pretty good. Tesla IPO'd at about $1.30, $1.50, if I'm not mistaken. So again, it IPO'd higher, and it's not at $100,000 a share. But very, very good point. Rusted Wood, thanks for coming as well. And Sentient, you people, I don't know what that means. Legend, thank you for the UK. Thank you to everybody in the UK, and I hope that digital ID stuff is fake news. Fingers crossed. Very, very weird stuff is going on in the world. Thank you all for coming. Hope you enjoyed the show. I'll see you all tomorrow for Friday Fire. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for being here.